doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid.
But you see how much kidnappers are eating from victims.
My thing is, government should, all the stakeholders in that sector, they need to be spoken to, and we sit together and agree to them. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your airlines will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning and welcome to Inside Nigeria, where we dissect Nigeria's foremost newspaper leadership and other newspapers. My name is Winifred Ubebo, and I'll be your host on today's program. Unfortunately, my co-host Bode Gbadebo is unavoidably absent. And with me here in the studio, we have Majid Dahiru. Dahiru is a public affairs analyst, and he's with me here in the studio to analyze some of the paper's headlines. Dahiru, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Thank you so much. So without wasting much time, we are moving to our staple, leadership newspaper. Thursday, 2nd September 2021, and leadership newspaper has on its cover, first time in 6 years, PMB wears the big stick on 2 cabinet members. First time in 6 years, PMB, President Muhammadu Buhari, wears the big stick on 2 cabinet members. Power agreed ministers fired for underperformance, flip-flop policies. More ministers to go. Citizens hard hit as food inflation rises from 13.7% to 21% and power supply worsens. Experts set agenda for new ministers. President's action will change anything, says PDP. So, Dahiru, this is leadership newspaper. It is headlines.
I think it is well captured because, yes, this is the first time in 6 years that the president is altering his cabinet. And it's, I don't know, it has been received with mixed feelings. Some people are commending him, some people are saying, well, too late, too little. Or some people are saying never too late in the day. But however we look at it, at least it sends a signal that somehow maybe we still have somebody watching out for the activities of the ministers in the highest office in the land. And maybe the president is also sensitive to some of the issues. But in my own opinion, I think the 2 gentlemen that have just been fired in the cabinet and so many other ministers in the cabinet, in the first place, have no business being there.
Okay.
Yeah, so what was the pedigree? What are the antecedents of the people that the president actually appointed into his cabinet, and how well are they delivering on the mandates given to them in their respective roles? If you are delivering, the follow-up headline on the main headline of the leadership government has been there. Power wasn't, food inflation is on the rise, and so many other, anomalies in the system that has further impoverished the Nigerian people. Of course, not just about security and the general state of the economy. So I think beyond just relieving 2 ministers of their portfolios, what I think is the recruitment process for ministers, the criteria has to change now from patronage, a reward system for political participation, to bringing in expertise. I say this because the best reward for the political participation of Nigerians, those who voted for the president twice in 2015 and 2019, is good governance. Good governance across board. And so, rather than bringing somebody you think you want to reward for the role they play to mobilize people, bring in somebody that can deliver dividend of democracy to the larger segment of the people that voted for you, if not all of them. So, in replacing these 2 ministers, we want to see a paradigm shift in the criteria we used to appoint them. And I would have also thought that, given the importance of Ministry of Agriculture and economy, a ready replacement would have been there. They would have interviewed the person, they would have done certain background checks to make sure that the people that will replace the outgoing ministers will be such that they will bring the much needed knowledge, competence, expertise, and integrity to bear in the delivery of the mandates in these very two important ministries. Again, we've not seen that. Rather, we've seen people within the same cabinet that is actually underperforming being selected to fill in the respective
Just
gaps. So I think it's not here to cool for us. It's not something we should jubilate about, really. Honestly, I don't see anything positive from this. That's my frank opinion.
okay. Dairu, just in line with a sister publication, we are moving swiftly to national economy. And my national economy is taking off from where leadership stopped. It says, beyond change of minister, Nigerians desire affordable, stable electricity. Beyond change of minister, Nigerians desire affordable, stable electricity. Way forward for nation's decades of appalling power sector experts. So, Tahiru, what do you have to say? Because many people are seeing it as just an eye service, that going by the fact that it's just barely 2 years to the end of the
Of the
tenure of
administration.
administration is now making this change. And what does it even intend to achieve at the end of the day? What
As if
what
I
those ones are
knew,
going to
I
do?
mean, without seeing the headline on
Uh,
the national
economy.
economy, it's as though I had, an premonition of what they're going to talk about. Beyond the change of ministers, Nigerians desire affordable and stable electricity. What I'm saying. The president should have replaced the outgoing ministers or the outgoing ministers now with people that can bring about the affordable and stable electricity that Nigerians desire. Now you are putting someone from Ministry of Environment
Um,
to,
replace.
to replace agriculture. You are bringing someone from Ministry of Works to fill in the gap for the Ministry of Power. So it does not inspire any confidence that the ministers that you're voting can make any of these changes that are desired. So that is what I'm saying. There's nothing to jubilate about, really. Beyond the symbolism of, okay, somebody somewhere is still alive to his responsibility of, okay, once in a while you make some changes just to give us that impression that you are still monitoring your cabinet. But this is not in the right direction. These changes are not in the right direction. I mean, if today somebody has been announced as Minister of Power and nomination to present to the National Assembly, someone that all of us experts in the industry, Nigerians can relate to, as somebody who has the requisite skills to turn around this important sector. And the position will now be yes, maybe the president has realized that there was a need to bring in technocrats that know the job, rather than just politicians. I mean, the two ministers that have just been sacked are politicians. They are supporters of the president. They are partisan members of the APC. And so it was just a reward system for their role, for the what role they played to garner votes for the president. And I'm saying, Mr. President, it's better to get someone that can deliver power to all of us Nigerians. That is the best reward system. You can give to your millions of supporters than making one politician a minister that will just come there and, as we all know, the thing is when you make politicians ministers, they tend to convert this position to advance their partisan political interest through political dispensation without doing the job that they elected, that they appointed to do. So we've not seen that change. And so, well, we're still hoping that maybe when he's appointing the two ministers that will replace the outgoing minister, something positive will be done.
Yes, but Dairu, given the antecedent of the snail-like speed that the president has been employing in appointing ministers, do you think these positions will actually be filled before the end of his tenure?
Before the end of the tenure, it is mandated at least fill one because the constitution says each state must have a minister. So he may not be in a hurry to fill the two vacancies because Kano State, beyond the ministers actually hails from, has a minister currently in the cabinet. But Taraba State does not have a minister, so the president is mandated to actually fill that slot because it is constitutional and he shouldn't delay it. So it is their entitlement, it's their constitutional right to have a representation in the Federal Executive Council. So I don't expect him to leave it to the end of the term. That would, for me, tantamount to not just an impeachable offense, but it is gross injustice to the people of Taraba. So he has to appoint somebody from that state almost immediately. Not that they should go by without a state of the federation, in line with the letters of the constitution and the spirit behind the letter of the constitution, having its representation in the Federal Executive Council, that will run contrary to the provisions of the constitution. So I will expect the president, as a matter of fact, to send a nomination to the National Assembly as soon as they are resuming, to clear that nominee and get the person appointed into the cabinet from at least Taraba.
Okay. We're still on the issue before we move on to another newspaper. Now we are talking about increase in food
Inflation, rise in food
inflation,
inflation.
rise in inflation. Don't you think that we the federal government is skirting around the issue instead of tackling it? We are talking about issues of herders and farmers on the farm. So farmers can no longer go to their farms. So it's part of the factor that is
Driving food inflation.
inflating. So what do you say to that?
So of course,
And the minister is not being made to pay for it because the minister he couched it that underperformance, but he didn't tell us exactly what was his reason.
yes. And that's why I said in the first instance, such individuals as Minister Nanono should have been in the cabinet in the first place. But I would have expected a minister to have drawn the attention of the president to this very important issue you raised. That look, farmers are no longer able to go to their farms because of the activities of killer herdsmen across the country. We didn't hear the minister say this. Rather, what we saw from the ministry was that he renovated the old Ministry of Agriculture with over £1 billion when they have a new one lying fallow in the central business district of the city center here. We also saw a leaked memo where a mosque was constructed for some IDP camps or something
Yes.
to the tune of 30 million. We saw a minister that had a complete displacement of his priorities, completely. He simply didn't know why he was in that office. And so I'm sure he didn't even have the time to even engage with his principal on the need to ensure adequate security for farmers. So yes, that might not be the fault of anybody that will come. If you bring the best person to manage agriculture and the president does not take up his responsibility as commander in chief to secure this country against all forms of insecurity, this problem will remain. No doubt about that. But I'm saying that the out government that does not even know that this is the problem. Otherwise, we would have seen him making statements, pronouncements, and appeal to his people in this direction. Not for one day did the man actually utter a single word about this issue just raised. So it tells you that the man probably didn't even see from this angle because he was busy. As I said earlier, this is the patronage system. So he was busy dispersing patronage around the office. Because when you make a minister out of a man that supported you for elections, you have a sense of entitlement over government offices presiding over. To him, it's part of the spoils of the electoral war that they fought in your favor. So going forward, we need to bring an expert that will draw the attention of the president to say, look, I can't implement any of these policies because the people for whom these policies are meant for can no longer farm. And without farming, there's no agriculture. And so we expect the president to appoint somebody. So, but like I said, he has appointed someone from within the cabinet to fill in that gap.
Yes, because my worry is this: if the former, most of the first cabinet members were returned during the second tenure, and of course some, it's only few like Audu Ogbe, the erstwhile former minister, the erstwhile minister of agriculture was not returned back. Obviously, he didn't perform according to maybe what the president wanted. So this time, one would have expected that the president would have been up, knowing fully well what he wanted to achieve with the minister. So don't you think he left it a bit too late? Just less than
like
2
I said,
years
in the first place,
of
the
his
president should have
administration.
appointed, even out the way in the first time. You don't appoint politicians to run an economy that is already in crisis. No doubt this government inherited an economy that was in bad shape.
Yes, it's true.
You do not appoint the likes of Indike, the likes of Otimi Amechi, the likes of Audrey. You don't reward politicians with juicy appointments to come and run an economy that is in crisis already. That's why the economy went down. So I'm saying in the first place, we need to set this agenda now for the president. And look, if you want to reward people for voting for you, reward them with good governance. And how do you do that? Bring the best hands from anywhere you can find them in the world to come and do the job, to deliver on your campaign promises. That is the best reward for political persuasion of the over 40 million people that voted for you. So anything short of that is you are actually shortchanging them of the much promised dividend of democracy. So going forward, 2 years, yes, is not a long time, but at the same time, he can set a new agenda for even the incoming administration in the way a manner minister should be appointed. This system is no longer working. A system that makes us appoint card carrying members of the political parties to come in and now convert government offices as though their personal fiefdom. Some of them are in this office already looking for governorship positions. They want to be senators. They want to be everything. So all they are doing is not the advancement of the mandate of the ministries, but how to expand their political influence within their own various states or senatorial districts through patronage. And so they compromise the principles and policies and programs of their ministries, skew it in advancement of their personal political ambition. This is a very dangerous trend that has compounded our problems. As what the president thinks he's trying to do well, your appointment is faulty. And I'm saying, rejig it, bring in the best hands from each of the statistics of the federation, from where they are found, including the diaspora, and give them the marching order to deliver. If he appoints politicians, as he has done in the last 6 years, again, to finish the positions, the president will simply, as you said earlier, running in circles without solving the problem. And that should be his responsibility. And the blame will go to him ultimately. This will now define his legacy as a man who came, who saw but could not conquer.
Thank you so much, public affairs analyst. We are moving on to another paper, Daily Independent. Daily Independent, Thursday, September 2nd, 2021. It has on its cover, bandits invade Zamfara governor's hometown, abduct over 100 students. Bandits invade Zamfara governor's hometown, abduct over 100 students. The bandits killed 9, scores injured in Kogi community too. They also abducted others in Ekiti, while residents protest.
When this news came out yesterday, between you and I wasn't shocked. I mean,
You were not shocked.
I wasn't moved.
Did you expect it?
It's an ongoing thing. I've become used to it. And I wasn't the only one. If you notice, there's no outcry to what is happening.
Dairo, if you feel this same way, is this the same way as security forces are also feeling that nothing is done? They hold these students in captivity for 60 days
it's
and
become our daily reality.
until they deem it fit to release them. Nobody.
Honestly, I'm not afraid. I'm not alarmed. No, I'm not. But we've warned, we've talked, we've criticized, we've pointed out certain issues to both the central government and particularly to the governor of Zamfara State, who came on board. And rather than make effort as the chief security officer of the state, rather than make effort as the leader, political leader of that state, he came in and began to dangle rotten carrots at bandits, using ethnicity as a military. This governor was fond of telling bandits that I am Fulani like you. I have recordings there. And that please stop doing this because of me. And then he blamed the banditry or what's not terrorism on the Hausa vigilante groups that, according to him, usually attack Fulanis in the marketplaces. These attacks, I do not know where they are reported, I do not know where they are, where they happened. But the governor was fond of saying this. And therefore, he now felt that he needed to give them amnesty. He now opened talks with criminals. This governor will be on phone with criminals, begging them, talking to them. And we told him that you do not appease criminals.
Yes.
You don't beg criminals. If a Hausa vigilante, according to you, I didn't say it, he said it, has attacked a Fulani community, go and punish that Hausa man. Immediately, bring him to justice. But the Fulani man also does not have the right to not go attack another Hausa man in retaliation. This is not a jungle where animals do not have a clear leadership and they eat each other. This is a constitutional democracy, a territory that's won by laws. It is your duty, Mr. Governor, to enforce law and order. That man failed thoroughly. He massaged this issue until what we told him in the beginning has not happened. These young men have proven to him that we don't have a loyalty to you. You are the one who thinks we are like you. We are not like you. We are not you. you are in Nigeria, we are outlaws, and they are making money out of this enterprise, and it's not going to stop. They have stockpiled enough arms to take over, to overrun that, the entire Northwest territory, if today the Nigerian armed forces will withdraw from that region. And so the governor has boxed himself into a corner, even though this thing predated his administration, but he practically handed over Zamfara to bandits by his lack of tact, his non-strategic approach to this issue, an issue that is of national security concern. And it's not the governor alone. Our president has not done enough to rein in the activities of killer heads. The fact that this government still views these whole happenings through the narrow prism of former harassed clashes tells you that we're not about to solve this problem anytime soon. You need a proper categorization of an issue to be able to apply the correct antidote. It's like when you go to a doctor, they diagnose you first. They tell you have social and so bacteria or what virus in your body. It is given names, it is labeled. And that's that the process of curing you is to administer some kind of antidotes. And when you read the chemical properties of these antidotes or the medications, you will see that they have combative properties against what ails you. The proper diagnosis that has been done in this issue that these people are terrorists that are out to decimate sedentary communities, plunder, loot, and take away. And there is no basis, there's no reason for this. What's happening in the Northwest and across the country has nothing to do with grazing root and grazing reserves. But unfortunately, our president's solution seems to be revival of non-existent gazetted grazing root. I challenge anybody who has a copy anywhere of this gazetted root to make a public of sale. And when you claim that farmers have encroached upon grazing routes, you are providing a justification, in fact, an ideological one for that matter, for continuous carnage by this category of terrorists.
Yes.
And this is the problem we are facing. Now, it started in Benue, the then Minister of Defense, who is from Zamfara incidentally, Mansour Dan Ali, he told us that the reason that some people were killed in Benue and took them grazing them. Okay. It happened in Plateau, when over 200 people were slaughtered. And the Miyetti Allah took responsibility and said, our cattle were rushed, we invaded the community. The president went and told them to live together in peace. Not one person brought to justice for killing 200 million people, 200 people, not one person. When it's happening in Plateau, they still call it human rights clash. They say they should call for peace. Let them to them. This emboldened these bandits, these terrorists. It emboldened them. They now saw an opportunity in Nigeria to make money because Nigeria is one of the countries in the entire Sahelian region that borders the region where you have only money flowing, where people can be kidnapped and millions of naira come out within 48 hours.
Easily.
So they have converted Nigeria to a thoroughfare of criminal franchise, of kidnapping for ransom. And this is what is happening now. But unfortunately, those who should curtail these activities are fixated on the notion that it is a former herders clashes. And they're looking for grazing routes all over the place to revive. Grazing routes for who? So you think somebody will drop AK-47, an RPG, who has capacity to bring down a fighter jet, who can invade the Nigerian Defense Academy, will now abandon this multi-billion naira enterprise and come and start telling to cattle in one grazing reserve and grazing routes. Now, what baffles me is that the president's hometown right now is now a terrorist playground, his own home state. The governor has even asked people to defend themselves. And when you try to call him to reject, no, I insist. Go and defend yourself.
And he's calling for state police too.
He's calling for state police. He has banned cattle movement within the state. Yes. He has blocked border communities around the state from moving back to and fro within the state. The government of Sokoto has followed suit. Niger has followed exactly the same.
Also calling for state police.
Exactly. This is something that people have been calling for in the last 6 years. And this government has turned a deaf ear to this cry. Now, the chicken has come home to roost. Those, according to El-Rufai, he said in 2016, made a startling remark that those that are killing in Southern Kaduna were Fulanis, were brought in from the neighboring countries. He said, I didn't say it all. You know, they like to accuse in the media of labeling. And I'm like, no. You are the ones that are labeling your own people. I didn't label anybody. Nobody's labeling anybody. And the victim has a right to identify his killer. And all over the world, criminals are profiled to their ethnicity, to their religion, and to the region of origin.
Yes.
That's how you knew that Hutus killed Tutsis.
Exactly.
That was how you knew that apartheid in South Africa was white minority rule over black majority. That was how you knew that extremist Buddhists in Myanmar were killing Muslim Rohingyas. Otherwise, you wouldn't have known. That was how you knew that Nazi Germans killed 6 million Jews. That was how you knew that Jews in Palestine today are occupying Arab lands. So I don't see why somebody cannot now say that okay, the person who invaded my farm is a killer herdsman. I don't know what is wrong with that. That does not mean that the entire ethnic group is criminalized. No. I don't know why people are concerned more about so-called labeling than the substance, even when you are the biggest victim of the same killer group. So Elfai told us that people came in from neighboring countries.
Yes, even the president told us too that it was foreigners that were doing.
And I'm like, what is your role as commander in chief? Why have we allowed our ethnicity to prevail over our nationality? Even as political leaders, you're supposed to lead the country and respect peace, respect unity. If you go down history lane, in 1914, the First World War broke out, and Germany attacked the United Kingdom. As at the time of this attack, this air raid over London, the King of England, King George V, was of Germanic ethnicity. His cousin was King Wilhelm of Germany. He was the one who ordered an attack on Britain. At this instance, the British monarchy, headed by a German, decided to choose their nationality, their British citizenship, over and above their German ethnicity. I know what he did. He declared war against his cousins in Germany to defend his British people, who are made up of different ethnicities. He stood up to his cousins and he defeated Germany. That is how leaders stand by their people. You cannot tell that as a governor, somebody is killing people in your state, and you are making excuses that we are one, we are the same. Please stop killing. That is impeachable. It's an abomination. That's a gross violation of your oath of office. That's why this thing has continued, because these people have become so emboldened that they think that it is a normal thing to do. And they're not going to stop for as long as the government and those in government keep treating mother with kid gloves. It's not going to stop. Not anytime soon. So I'm not surprised. I'm not even shaking. I'm not even amazed. I'm not alarmed. And maybe I'm not even so concerned that some 3 people were actually abducted. I'm not. Because those that should be concerned more than us accuse us of talking the problem. When you talk about this issue, they say you are the one instigating the violence. And I'm like, did I buy gift for anybody? Did the media buy gift for anybody? We are only reporting violence. You know why? So that you can solve it. Nobody's promoting violence. I'm not coming to ask anybody to retaliate. I'm not going to ask anybody to come pick up a gift for 7 and kill anybody. We're saying, Mr. President, Mr. Governor, these are the people killing other people. Please go after them and do the needful.
But sorry, Mr. Dario, I need to cut in on this. Don't you think that the governors, their hands are tied due to the fact that the security network is on the exclusive list? So now the preserve of Mr. President.
I agree with you. That's why I said. Some of the governors, yes, I agree completely that the hands are tied. But some of them actually also, what they are supposed to do, they are not doing. For example, in Benue, the governor of Benue is shouting, is calling on those that are supposed to do the needful, the federal government, to come and rescue these people. In Benue, you have 2 million IDPs as we speak, and killings are still going on there. Now, this is different from a governor who spoke and said, okay, the killings are justified because somebody killed them before. Somebody lost their cattle before. So I'm going to beg them. He's not even calling for federal assistance. In fact, remember when this government declared the no-fly zone over Zamfara?
Yes.
The governor came out to criticize the move and said it's going to jeopardize his peace effort. Peace with who? So the governor in Zamfara particularly he shares a bigger blame than even the federal government in that instance. Because the federal government has shown more seriousness with military action than the governor of Zamfara has shown. Now, the governor of Katsina, for example, is helpless. He has identified the problem clearly. He has called on the government to do the needful. He has called for state police.
Sorry, before we go on short break, let me take you back a little. Don't forget that initially they blamed the banditry activities in Zamfara, on mining activities.
You see, that is the problem. We look for excuses for everything. Why should anybody
So much so
carry
that
out?
President had they had to revoke some licenses that were given out to some
The
mining
question
companies.
is, okay, if revoked, has it stopped? It was never about mining. It was about money. Look, people make the mistake of thinking that mining was the problem. Mining was never the problem. It was an excuse that was given. Do you know what is sustaining banditry? The fact that they have taken some 3 children now. They're going to be paid hundreds of millions of naira. That is more money you can get that you can get from mining or breeding cattle. It's as simple as that. You can't ask the people that have more lucrative engagement than mining. And you think mining is the reason why they are doing this. What is the problem? Who told you that anybody is ready to drop his AK-47 and go and start digging and get infected with base metals because of money when you can just do this and get a huge chunk of money? In 2018 alone, over 3 billion was paid as ransom to bandits in Japan. Just 1 year. And that amount is estimated to have increased between then and now. So let us stop blaming everything in the world than face the issue. Ineffectual enforcement of law and order. The inability for Nigerian state to stem this tide and defeat terror. It's as simple as that. Defeat terror. People should go about their legal mining business legally, cattle breeding business legally, and otherwise. But defeat this terror. Stop making excuses for them. Why is the government not making the same excuses for the IPOB activities in the southeast? Why? How come nobody making any excuse? How come the government is cracking down heavily on IPOB militants in the southeast without making any form of excuse at all? Why?
Thank you so much, Dairu. We have to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll do another paper review. Yes, welcome back to Inside Nigeria, coming to you live from Leadership Podcast Studio here in Abuja. And I have with me here in the studio Majid Dahiru. Majid, thank you so much
Thank you
for
very
being
much.
around. And we have one last paper to go, and the paper is Vanguard newspaper. Vanguard, APC latest. Court stops Buni order caretaker escrows. APC latest. Court stops Buni order caretaker escrows. Dahiru, last week it was PDP, and now this week again is APC. What do you have to say?
I think it's clearer now to anybody And that really there's no difference between the APC and the PDP. And why is this so? You see, since 1999, when we transited from military to civil democratic rule, our political process has steadily degenerated into criminal franchise of power grab, power purchase at all costs, including electoral banditry for self-service. And so what you have is when you have electoral banditry, it inadvertently leads to administrative bandits in power
Yes.
at all tiers and government and at all levels of government as well. So now it is a struggle for the control among the various political bandits that you see happening in both parties. You know, our electoral system is such that you cannot run on an independent platform. A political party must give you a platform to run. And so since these two parties are the dominant parties, there is a mortal combat between the combatants within to take control of the structure so that they can now help install both themselves and their cronies into the various offices in order to continue to partake in the sharing of our national cake.
Exactly.
It's nothing more than that. Nigeria is one large buffet. So you come in, you take your own and you go. But this has implications beyond what you are saying for political parties. It has implications for the Nigerian state. I have my worries. Going into the 2023 election, with both parties in this manner, without being reformed, without any hope of redemption, of even self-redemption, we are likely to see a worse government elected from many of these parties going forward. And the lamentations we're having today will continue beyond 2023.
If we are not careful.
If we're not careful, because any party that is run in this manner, they cannot elect any responsive, proactive government that can solve Nigeria's problems of insecurity, corruption, and economic dislocation. It's not possible. Because the aim is to go in there and take from the national king. Simple. It's to go in there and eat. That's what they're struggling for. And this eating is what has kept us where we are today since the return to democracy without any form of development. So this is not just about a political party, it's about our country.
And so if I caught him, you see some of the riders as Asaba High Court. Actually, it was the expert order was gotten from an Asaba High Court.
Yes. That's why the fact that the Chief Justice has also called heads of court to say, come on, how are we going to solve this problem? It tells you that the truth is they are the ones in power at various levels. The PDP and the APC are in power. They control the courts remotely, whether they like it or not. And so the CJ, well, for all I know, he just do the best he can. If these characters insist that this party should continue, it will continue. So we need to address Nigeria's problem from the political leadership angle. We are condemned to eternal damnation between these two political parties, oscillating power among themselves. And that is my worry. It's not about Buni or Secondus. No, it's about Nigeria. Imagine if all of these gymnastics in APC and somebody, triumphs over the other and installs a government to be loyal to this rotten system that's thrown him up. It's something with the PDP. So we'll be caught in this same web of a complex, dysfunctional state going forward. And that is what Nigerians should ponder about. I do not know if it is too late to begin to organize after these two political parties. But I think Nigerians must begin to take that option. This party and its cousin, the PDP, cannot regenerate its degenerate self. It's not possible. They cannot do it. They don't have the capacity for self-regeneration. And so their continuous stay in power will continue to degenerate the Nigerian political process and by implication the Nigerian state down the drain. Our national cake has almost been exhausted. We're now borrowing heavily to continue the sharing. So for how long are we going to continue like this? This is the reason why we're where we are. The process that elects the leaders is steeped in corruption. It stinks. It's rotten. It is a nightmare. Look, if no matter how good you are, no matter how innocent you are, if you pass through this crucible of death, with the dirty intrigues in the Nigerian political space, you come out a completely different person. Your worldview will change from developmental to self-service, from public service to how you can help yourself. That is the problem we're having. And we need to focus on the conversation on what has gone wrong with our leadership in the politics. We're a democracy. Democracy itself is not a bad thing.
In this situation, don't you think the youth too on their own they have faith?
We are a product of society. And what have we failed? I need to narrow this down to the reason for this. The simple reason is because Nigeria is not a nation in the true sense of the word. You see, when you talk about restructuring or looking for a solution to a problem through restructuring or whatever you call it, yes, no structure is perfect. But the truth is, the way Nigerians are configured, no structure will work for Nigeria. You see, recently, it was even on today's front page of the Telegram newspaper. The custom boss was asked, why is smuggling still happening despite all your effort? He said, bad governance. He said, because the communities where you have smuggling are actually legitimizing the business because that is the only source of income they have. Because government has completely abandoned the fringes of our society. Why is this so? There's no integrated development agenda for Nigeria, at least in the last 50 years. It's not there. Why is it not there? It goes back to the foundation of the country. Nigerians negotiated after the British a federating unit that was structured along tribal lines. And we've continued to consolidate on creating more federating units from 3 to 4 regions and then to 12 states to 19 to 21 to 30 and to 36 states. Now, all of these states reflect tribal delineations, like a state was created for this tribe or this group of tribes. And what is sustaining this entire federating units? Crude oil revenue. So a governor, a government chairman is you don't have to do anything. Every month, a governor gets an alert of between 4, 5, or 7 billion. You don't need to do nothing. That's what has happened. Our political process is primarily driven by preponderant sentiments of ethnicity and religion. And so the various ethnic groups in Nigeria, over 1,000 of us ethnicities, we are competing amongst ourselves for the control of this national cake that comes from crude oil revenues. And this competition is what you see manifesting in our political parties. Ordinarily, Nigeria is going to be competing, not with itself, but with other nations for global resources. So you need to first solve the problem of national identity. Who is a Nigerian? There's no Nigerian to speak. We have the job, we have the security, we have. So we need a leadership that understands that Nigeria is going down. That's all the situation. We're going down. It's not funny. We're no longer able to defend ourselves because our priorities are not set first. So we need a political leadership that can rise above premonderant sentiments for this area and unite us as a people. Unite us, begin to solve this problem systematically, and begin to focus Nigeria's economic gaze to the global community and stop this internal competition and begin to harness our potentialities for external competition so that we can drive in revenues from other sources of our economic endeavors. That's not happening yet. That agenda is not here. This brings back to the issue of cabinet. We are people based on patronage. You supported me for election, take. And I'm saying no. I want people that can deliver, they can cook this, they can bake this cake, make it bigger for larger people to share. Rather than people that come and take it away from the already meager and diminishing cake. So it is that diminishing cake that has set us down the road to economy as we speak. Our economy is, of course, your security, you cannot secure yourself. I mean, the government cannot secure its own self, its own facilities. Not to take of ordinary citizens around. And the government is borrowing to practically repay debt and borrowing to carry out its own functions. We're not able to generate wealth. We can't generate wealth because why we are focused on sharing the national cake. We're not breaking it. So we need to solve the problem of national unity and identity. It's very important. If we don't solve that problem, no structure work for you. Nothing, no laws don't work for countries like Nigeria. Because a tribalistic man by nature don't obey laws. He obeys his cultural instinct. He doesn't obey laws. No policy will work because when you craft the policy, a tribesman is looking at how the policy can be skewed to favor his itself and its own section.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it doesn't work for Nigeria.
It's what we have today.
That is what it is. So you need to have citizens. You need to evolve Nigeria from a nation of tribesmen to from a country of tribesmen to a nation of citizens. A citizen understands the law. He understands that look, I am because we are. That is a citizen's mentality. So he looks out for you. He does not marginalize you. He knows that we are the same people. We are human beings, basically. So if it is good for you, it is good for me. So let us obey a law so that it will favor all of us. But a craftsman, no, he looks at the law, he undermines it on the basis of culture and tradition. No. A policeman, for example, you can speak your language to him in Nigeria and he let you go.
Yes.
He can.
Yes.
Uh-huh. You don't know the implication of what he has done. And if you don't speak his language, you can also bring money to appease me for not being from my tribe. I'm talking about law enforcement. Even law enforcement is undermined by tribalism.
It is.
So how do you not think policies that are made in Abuja can translate to good governance for the entire country when it is human beings, this set of people that are also in charge of both crafting and implementation of these policies? So we need to go back to the fundamental question of nationhood. No nation on earth can make progress without resolving this question. None. China, for example, is not a liberal democracy, but it is working. Saudi Arabia is a monarchy, it is working. US is a liberal democracy, it is working. Britain is a liberal democracy, it is working. Why? Because all of these countries have one thing in common: a strong, cohesive national identity. How the Chinese is Chinese. Despite what China has over 900 ethnic groups. You have Saudi, it is Saudi. Despite the fact that Saudi is a multiracial, multi-ethnic society. America, of course, that one, don't even need, that one is like the entire world in one. The same thing with UK. But they have a common citizenship that guides all of them. So they are citizens of their nations. And these nations are governed in line with the principles of equity, fairness, and justice. If you don't have that in any country, Nigeria will end up, God forbid, like Sudan, like Somalia, like Lebanon, like Iraq, like Afghanistan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Majid Dahir. It's been a pleasure having
Thank
you
you
in the
very much. It's
studio
a
with me.
pleasure.
And thank you so much, viewers out there, for keeping in touch, staying tuned to Inside Nigeria. Tomorrow is another edition of Inside Nigeria. Please keep a date with us. And I remain Winifred Igwebo. Thank you.